Have you ever stared at a picture of the Great Pyramids of Giza and just thought, how? How on earth did an ancient civilization, without the help of modern machinery, build these colossal monuments that have stood for over 4,500 years? It's a question that has baffled historians, engineers, and dreamers for centuries. Well, today, we read diving deep into the sands of time to uncover the secrets behind one of humanity's greatest architectural achievements. Forget what you think you know, because the real story is even more incredible. Let's start with the sheer scale of this project. The Great Pyramid of Khufu alone is made of about 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing an average of 2.5 tons. That's like stacking 1.5 million cars on top of each other. For a long time, the prevailing theory was that this monumental task was accomplished by a massive workforce of enslaved people, toiling under the whip of the pharaoh. But modern archaeology and historical records paint a very different and far more fascinating picture. So, who were these master builders? Evidence discovered in the 1990s, including a workers' village and tombs right next to the pyramids, tells us they were skilled Egyptian laborers. These weren't slaves. They were respected members of society. They were well-fed, receiving daily rations of bread, beer, and meat, a pretty good diet for the time. They also received medical care. Skeletons found in the village show evidence of healed, broken bones, and even complex medical procedures like amputations, proving they were valued. They worked in rotating shifts, likely for a few months at a time, before returning to their villages. It was seen as a national project, a form of civic duty, and an honor to build a tomb for their god-king. Okay, so we have a dedicated, skilled workforce. But how did they move those gigantic stones? The quarries for the main limestone blocks were located right nearby on the Giza Plateau. But the gleaming white casing stones that originally covered the pyramids came from Tura, across the Nile River. And the heavy granite for the inner chambers came from Aswan, over 500 miles to the south. This is where ancient Egyptian ingenuity really shines. Archaeologists have uncovered papyrus scrolls, like the Diary of Mira, which is the personal logbook of an official involved in the pyramid construction. It describes in detail how his crew of 40 men transported limestone from Tura to Giza. They used large, wooden boats to navigate the Nile River. But more importantly, they engineered a system of canals and artificial waterways that brought the water right up to the base of the pyramid plateau. This allowed them to float the massive blocks almost directly to the construction site, dramatically reducing the amount of land travel required. Once the blocks were on site, the next challenge was getting them up the pyramid. This is where things get really interesting, and where several theories compete. The most widely accepted theory involves the use of ramps. But what kind of ramp? A single, long, straight ramp would have been impossibly huge, almost as big as the pyramid itself. So experts have proposed other ideas. One popular theory is a spiral ramp that corkscrewed around the outside of the pyramid as it was being built. This would allow for a more gradual incline and would be built up layer by layer along with the pyramid. Another compelling theory, proposed by French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin, suggests an internal ramp. According to this idea, an external ramp was used for the first third of the pyramid's height. Then, workers switched to an internal spiral ramp, just inside the pyramid's outer walls to haul the blocks the rest of the way up. This would explain why we haven't found remains of a massive external ramp, and also accounts for certain anomalies detected inside the pyramid using modern scanning technology. It's a clever solution that would have saved immense time and resources. Regardless of the exact ramp system, Moving the blocks required brute force and clever physics. The Egyptians likely used wooden sledges to transport the blocks over land. And here is a brilliant little trick. A famous tomb painting from that era shows a person pouring water onto the sand in front of the sledge. For years, people thought it was just a ceremonial act. But experiments have shown that wetting the sand just right reduces the friction by as much as 50%. This simple act would have made it possible for a much smaller team of men to pull these colossal stones. Now, what about the incredible precision? The sides of the Great Pyramid are aligned almost perfectly with the 4 cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. The base is also astonishingly level. How did they achieve this with no modern surveying equipment? For the alignment, they likely used the stars. By tracking the movement of a star and bisecting the angle of its rising and setting, they could determine true north with remarkable accuracy. To level the base, they may have cut a network of trenches into the bedrock, filled them with water, and then marked the water level. Then, they would cut the rock down to that marked line, creating a perfectly flat foundation. Simple, yet absolutely brilliant. The blocks themselves were cut and shaped with incredible precision using copper chisels and saws, which were probably hardened with arsenic. The workers would then use stone pounders and abrasive powders like quartz sand to smooth the surfaces. The fit between the casing stones was so perfect that you couldn't even slip a piece of paper between them. So, when we put all these pieces together, the mystery of the pyramids doesn't disappear, but it transforms. It's no longer a story of aliens or lost technologies. Instead, it becomes a testament to human organization, innovation, and dedication. It's the story of a nation coming together for a common purpose, led by brilliant engineers and project managers who mastered logistics, physics, and geology. They weren't just piling up rocks. They were executing a meticulously planned, multi-generational project of breathtaking complexity. The Great Pyramids are not just tombs. They are a symbol of what people can achieve when they work together with purpose and ingenuity. The secrets aren't buried under the sand, but are written in the evidence they left behind in the tools, the texts, and the very stones themselves. What do you find most impressive about their construction methods? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this journey back in time, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more adventures into the mysteries of the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.